quadrant, or that if you're using the triangular theory, you know what maybe the arm of the triangle that might have been a little weak, but you can go back and strengthen that arm, or go back to that quadrant and work on that quadrant in the wheel theory. We got all that background, right? So now my question is, how did you pick the one you with? Oh, glory to God. How did you pick the one you're not with? Oh, Lord. And those of you who looking, how are you picking?
You can say swiping, right?
How are you picking? Is that, yeah, you can go on pass that out, that summary. You get that to everybody. And if you need to get some more, make some more. And that's just a little summary. But that's not, we're going to talk a lot more in detail. Dating is the process of meeting. Courting is the process of selecting that particular person. So when you've got to select that particular person, how you select it? You have to determine what's called a field of eligibles. Now here's the thing. If you married, the person you married to that's sitting right there next to you, did you pick them from all over the world?
No, sir.
No, you didn't. There had to be a process by which you ended up with that one. Oh, y'all not talking to me.
You listening?
There was a process of how you ended up with that one right there. Okay? Those of you who are looking, are you looking all over the world? No. You're not over in Ireland and no. So how are you picking? You have to determine what's known as a field of eligibles. Now, so how do you do this? Now, I want you to know that those of you who already got one, see, I got me one already. And those of you already got one, you went through this, but watch this. You didn't know it.
Nope, didn't know it.
It was unconscious. Because you don't plan it out. Now that you like looking at it and studying it, you might be thinking about it in the future.
They're gonna be in the book somewhere. The one, you
but when we were doing it, you didn't plan this out. It happened unconsciously. But you were doing it, and let me show you what you were doing. Now, here's the thing. Some of us, watch this, did well.
I did.
In our field of eligibles. And then some of us in our field of eligibles, when it was time to go through the stages of elimination, we failed to go through the stages like we wanted to, like we should have. Okay? Now, or let me say, we didn't do the best job we could have. Y'all not mad at me yet, right? Okay, because the one you with is good. The one you with is good. But let's take a look at how you got the one you with. And all y'all who not with somebody, let's take a look at how you can get a good pick.
You take a note, baby.
Okay? All right, the field of eligibles. And I went outside of Grundland and did some other, a look at some other sociological writers to kind of see their thoughts on it as well. So when we look at this, I don't think that's it right there. That's a different one. Yeah, maybe yeah, that's a different one. This is I'm gonna pass out this later. I'll pass this out later. Now, in the field of eligibles, there are some things we have to look at. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw that diagram that you see on page 64 as we talk about this at the same time, as we talk about what's happening on 63 as well, okay? But I want you to see your field. Now, first of all, the first thing that happens is something called exogamy. Okay. Now, look at your paper and somebody tell me, what is exogamy? Exogamy are the people you can't pick. Okay. Great question. I heard the quintessential question. Why? All right, let's look at exogamy and let's answer that question. Why? In exogamy are people who are you should be unwilling as well as the ones you can't pick. Like the first real one is your relatives. Now, don't you think your relatives ought to be
off limits?
Part that's eliminated? How many of y'all want to marry your brother or your sister, your cousin, your niece, your nephew? Exogamy automatically what? Eliminates relatives. Am I talking to you? All right. Exogamy should eliminate what we call social exogamy. Now, what is social exogamy? Social exogamy are going to be people that socially is not you. For example, under social exogamy, how about if it's a criminal? Okay, come on. Give her a microphone. We got a dependent. No, it's okay. No, it's good. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We've got, y'all got to get the microphones out here so we can hear. Go.
Well, he said, what about a criminal? And I said, well, it depends.
Okay.
What is the crime that was committed? Has that person been rehabilitated and be a good person for you?
Okay.
For me, I got 4 daughters.
Okay.
The man was a pedophile? No way.
Okay.
I'm not going to say hello to you.
Okay.
If you got a speeding ticket, you need to pick it up, or they scooped you up for a small little joint in your car. I mean, I'm just keeping it honest. Yeah, so she's saying if it's a misdemeanor, or if it's a first-class felony, or whatever. So she's talking about what level of criminality. That's called heterogamy. You just got a little bit ahead of me. But that's okay. I mean, even...
That's okay.
Crazy, but even a murderer. What was the situation?
Nah, I ain't got no situation there. But for you, you might. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
There's several folks I know that shot other folks that are in jail for murder, but it was to defend the mass.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be. The law should have fixed that.
The law is always good.
Okay. Okay.
That's what my thought process. It depends on what your crime is and what the circumstance of that crime involves.
Okay.
If you could possibly be eligible for me.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not talking about something that is where we got all this gray area stuff. We're talking about a criminal. Yeah. Somebody that won't go down and knock off 7-Elevens. Somebody who wants to go and sell drugs, and become the kingpin. Somebody who wants to be the leader of the Bloods and the Crips. Somebody who, come on, let's don't play around. Y'all know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a criminal. I'm not talking about somebody who got speeding tickets, didn't pay, and they picked them up. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about somebody who served the country and got caught up and they say, oh, you murdered. That comes under the just war principle. We're not talking about those things. We're talking about criminal. You know criminal when you see him. Y'all, who don't know criminal when they see him? Okay, so does anybody not know what I'm talking about when I say criminal? Okay, I'm talking about a criminal. So we're not talking about ladies and gentlemen, I got 4 daughters, and I want my 4 daughters to stay away from criminals. I don't have any halfway and partial way, and I don't have any of that. I'm a father. I want them to stay completely away from criminals, because the field of eligibles are large enough where you don't have to pick that one.
All right.
That, am I being clear? I hope I'm being clear enough to you. And so if you want to know why there are divorces, it's because they're playing with this. A criminal is a criminal. Y'all said that to me. If you out there selling a pound of weed every 2 or 3 weeks, you're a criminal. And I don't want my daughter nowhere. I don't want her in the car with you. I don't want her going to a party or nothing or nowhere. I don't want it. And did you get rehabilitated? Maybe. So then that means there's a field of eligibles out there for you. A rehabilitated person, there is a field of eligibles that could fit their heterogamy, which is, like I said, is a little bit ahead of me. But if you decide that you want to go heterogamously with that rehabilitated criminal, okay, then that's a chance you're taking. And that's okay. You can do that, because that person will be in your field. That person will be there, and you can take that chance if you want to. But I'm going to direct my children toward homogamy rather than heterogamy. I think I see your hand. I'm willing to answer.
I think I got a question. I got a question.
Okay.
Okay. Hello? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you're saying someone more eligible for them,
someone that's homogamous.
okay.
Y'all just getting ahead of me. That's all right. Go ahead.
No, you had answered my question. That's why I was like, I think.
Okay, go ahead.
But no, you answered it.
I did?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You see, what we do is we have a field of eligibles. And that criminal, the rehabilitated one, the one in the halfway house, and the one that's finished, all of them are in the field of eligible.
Okay, so you.
And they may be cute, and they may be good, and they may have got degrees while they were in, and all of that kind of thing. They are in the field of eligible. Are you following me? Okay, but for me and my children, for us, when it comes to the values portion, which is stage 3 of the elimination process, they are heterogamous. And I don't want them picking heterogamously. I want them to pick homogamously. Because the heterogamous picks have a higher divorce percentage. It's not that the person might not be good. Maybe they are rehabilitated and will be a good husband. But the percentage of heterogamous picks are higher in the divorce category. Where the percentage of homogamous picks stay together longer. So that's all I'm saying. So you are absolutely free to pick in your field of eligibles, and when I put criminal here, I'm talking about the guy that carried 2 pistols and one in his ankle, and will shoot the moment you say something bad. Yes.
So you were saying that the people that are in the hetero.
Y'all are so ahead of me.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Go.
The heterogamy, for the example, like the criminals. So since they are in that heterogamy category, does that mean that nobody's for them?
No, there are people for them because they are in the field of eligibles.
Okay.
And the question is that person for you? Are you following? See, that person may be for, could be. Is that person for you? Because that person will be in your field of eligibles. Okay?
So, I have 2 things. So you're saying
homogamous.
Homogamous, whatever.
Homogamy, you got it.
So, yes, but for me, for me it'd be what is the word?
Homogamous. That's why y'all so far ahead of me. I can't get
Okay, so for me, it would be like you would want someone who would be homogamous with me,
right?
But that person could also be
That person may be heterogamous for someone else.
Okay. So I just wanted to say that. Also, so what determines what are the categories that determine homogamously?
That's what I'm trying to. Y'all won't let me get there.
Don't ask for Mike no more.
Y'all won't let me get there. I said criminal and that did it. Y'all know what crime is. We're not talking about gray areas or anything like that. I'm talking about for some people, social exogamy is a person. Watch this. You don't like this, do you? With poor hygiene.
Ooh, you right. What you say? Poor hygiene.
For some people, social exogamy, you eliminate someone whose hygiene is poor. Now, for some, you don't. For some, that's going to be homogamous for you. You're going to say, I'm okay. Are y'all following this? See, and you picking. And you out there picking. Nobody picked them but you. And you get them, and you take them home, and 6, 8, 9, 10 months later, now you're mad at them. But you knew it when you picked them. No. You know, well, I thought that he was changed. Well, I thought that he was rehabilitated. Well, he had started taking the bath. Poor hygiene has been, and if you don't think that that's a problem, you need to sit in the office with me sometime. But you picked him. It's heterogamous. It's social exogamy. And so what these are people you push out. You say, I like this person. This person is good. This person has a great job. This person has all of these great qualities. Is handsome. Is all those kind of things. But can I live with that? Does that, are y'all following that? I'll take questions behind that. I know y'all making me go slow, but I'll take questions. Because this is the thing, and then we wonder why the divorce rate is over 60%. It's because we made these picks, and we're being smart about it. And I'm trying to tell you, in your field of eligibles, if you don't take the time to go through a courting process and look at these things, you're going to take it home with you. Most of the time, marriages, if they don't make it, I tell people you aren't married until you've been married 7 years. When you've been married 7 years, that's year one of your marriage. And a lot of divorces are taking place 3 years, 4 years, 5 years in. Why? Because of the kind of discussions we're having right now. Everybody wants to compromise instead of looking at field of eligibles and say, this is the one for me, and go through the stages and the processes. We settle because what? We want to be married.
Oh, come on, Dad. Come on,
and we settle. And so I think I saw a hand somewhere. Yes, ma'am.
No, it's good that I'm really paying attention because, like you said, different things can fall on it.
Exogamy?
Yes, so it's really depending.
That's the big category.
Yes, on your personal choice and your personal preference. Because I mean, you could look at somebody and say, okay, they're in poor health. I don't want to choose from this field or people in this field.
But when we start getting into stages where we start looking at those kind of things, then you'll start seeing that.
Okay.
But see, we're still ahead of that. Health is not a social thing.
Okay, not social.
Yeah. But these are social things. What else will be a social thing?
Income? What about
that may be that may be a value. Income could be whether or not the person decides they want to work or not. That's a value. That would be stage 2 the value where you start eliminating based on values. But but what's a social thing? Some social, yeah.
What about somebody that can't make a decision without their parents?
Okay, that falls under what we call the needs, the complementary needs theory, which we'll get to that. Now we'll get to the complementary needs theory if we make it. If we make it, because y'all kept me here just talking about a criminal for 20 minutes. And it's okay. It's okay. I don't want to not talk about it, but I want you to understand this is the problem that we go through. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Bishop. The thought keep coming to my mind. A Christian woman or man, if they had decided in their life that they wanted to get married, wouldn't they ask Father God to send them a mate instead of just trying to pick one on their own.
No, and look, they wait for God to send somebody. God's gonna open up a field of eligibles to you. I've had people say, God sent this person to me, or God sent that person to me, and they're the first ones at the divorce court. What God does is God gives us good sense. We're not children. God expects us to have good sense. Yes, ma'am.
A friend of mine, gentleman came to the church. A friend of mine, a gentleman came to the church and told her that God said that she was his wife. She said, well, God ain't.
Kim, I'm telling you, that stuff happens all the time. Come on, God sent me this and God sent me that, and they are the first ones at the divorce court. We don't sit back and wait for God to send us a mate. Send me a house, send me a car, send me a job. No, faith is a thing of action. Faith is something that you put into action. Doors, God will open doors for us to move in the direction, but it's up to us to walk in faith. What we're talking about here is how should we comport ourselves, and to the text tells us the man that finds a wife finds a good thing. What does find mean? Does find mean God sent him to? No. That means that you go through the process. Go ahead.
Yeah, back to when you were talking about social exogamy, I was thinking about someone that has an addiction.
Oh, okay. Well, see, if you marry them knowing they have the addiction, you see, that was a choice you made. You made that choice.
Yeah, but I thought you were talking about the things in the field that would be associated with exogamy that would not want to select.
Yeah. If you decide this woman is a woman that I am very, very much in love with, but she is addicted to blah, blah, blah. But I love her. You see, that's a decision you've made. You made that. And so everything that comes along with that is something that you decided. You made that choice from your field of eligibles. Right. Was she the only one eligible in that field?
I must have misunderstood the question.
Okay.
Because I thought the question was, in the social exogamy, you listed criminal, poor hygiene. My list is someone that has an addiction.
Oh, you were naming something.
We was trying to get back to that.
Oh, you were getting back to my original question.
Yeah.
My original question was name something else that was could fall under the social exogamy that would be an eliminating thing for you. Okay, got you.
Education, like
it could be education. It could be education. You may say for me, the person I'm looking at need to at least have graduated high school. The person I'm looking at, I want to have a degree. The person I'm looking at, that's your field of eligibles. Okay? And that may not be this person's or that person's, but that's yours. The religious preference. That's social, race is what I would call heterogamy. Because that's something that's completely other. You see, And so when you decide to marry someone of a different race, it's a choice that you make. But they are other. They are not the same as you. They are other. It doesn't mean that it won't work, but it's a decision you make. And you go into it knowing that. Does that make sense to y'all? Yeah, and that person is in your field of eligibles, but you make that decision knowing. And, but it's heteros, which means other. Homos, which means same. You make that decision knowing this. Okay? So, you got exogamy. Can I do the next one?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So these are all these arrows point out because these are the people you pushing out, right? Now, what about the people that you want to bring in? The people you want to bring in. This is called what? Endogamy. Okay? Now, what is endogamy? What does it say on that paper I gave you?
Pool of people who are allowed in the field of eligible.
All right. So, what is it? What did I tell you? It is what?
The pool of people who are allowed into your field of eligible.
These are who you bring in. Okay? So, these are going to be non-relatives. They're okay, right?
Yes.
How about for Christians? You want believers in there, don't you?
Yes.
If you're a Christian, you won't believe. I know for me, when I was out there, I needed somebody who loved God as much or more than me. I had to have that. That was an endogamous criteria for me. Okay? What about for some of y'all like what? Y'all like them tall, don't you? Some of y'all like them short. And so what you do, you bring them in, you allow them in. Are y'all, what do you see? This is an endogamous, you allow them in. Okay? Now, here's another thing that's going to be a problem. It's called propinquity. Now, what is propinquity?
So, distance relationship?
That's right. You know, y'all that got that relationship with that person who live in Philadelphia.
Thought they were geographical pastors.
Y'all got that, ain't no long distance relationship. That's a long distance problem. But in your mind, it's a long distance relationship. In your mind, because all the way in Philadelphia, that person got another life going on. And while y'all on the phone, oh, I love you. Send you dozen roses every other week, you know. Send you that picture, you know. Send you that, you know, maybe send you a little change every now and then and everything. But they got a whole other life going on over in Philadelphia that you don't know nothing about. Oh, glory to God. Yeah. And so propinquity, that's what that's called. It's a geographic issue. Over here, there's a hand here, and I think I see a hand there. Mm-hmm.
With this category, does the stage that you're in, does that matter?
What is that? What do you mean?
Like the stage, like for instance, marriage. People in the military, for example, are over six months in Korea or something like that. So does that matter or?
Yeah, that's not propinquity. Propinquity is talking about picking somebody to marry from a field of eligibles, not somebody you're already married to and your job has moved you one way, one place.
Aren't there like different stages, like in dating and courting and stuff like that?
Those stage in courting, when we get later on, we're going to talk about how much you ought to be touching somebody during the courting phase. Y'all don't want that, do you? Yeah. There's a level of touching that ought to be going on for a Christian. For a Christian, y'all. If you're a Christian, there's a level, but that's later on. Right now, we're talking about for dating, because I think you missed the theory. Probably in let's say on the wheel theory, probably somewhere in stage 2 of the quadrant of the wheel theory, you will probably be doing some of that bonding. Some issues of bonding is taking place. Okay? Yes.
So there's no such thing at all as a long distance relationship?
Listen, we can talk about it all we want, and there is you can probably look it up on the internet and all that kind of thing. But my question is, do you think you have a relationship when the person is geographically displaced from you? Do you really think you have it? If you do, amen. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. I mean, do you? Do you think you have a relationship with somebody in Oklahoma and you over here? You probably don't have one with somebody in Fort Worth. And that's just 2 hours up the road. You probably don't even have that. But you do in your mind. But that's a question you have to ask yourself. But propinquity is going to be an issue when it comes to relationships. And so if you decide, me and Joseline, we've been courting for 12 months. I'm here and Joseline is in Kansas, Michigan, okay? And we decide we're gonna get married. And so Joseline started getting all of the bridesmaids and she's sending me the pictures. I'm saying, oh, I approve of that. Oh yeah, like that. And then it's time for the wedding. So I fly to Michigan. And we get married. And now we're husband and wife. We husband and wife. Everything is good until 3 months, 5, 6 months, and you start finding out who Joseline really is. She starts finding out who you really is. But y'all had a long, what you call it, long distance. Propinquity is an issue. And if you ignore it, amen. These lawyers getting rich. Yeah. Because we ignore these things. Okay? So, endogamy is going to, and so in this box, you're going to have heterogamy, and you're going to have homogamy in this box. Now, what did we say heterogamy was?
People in the field are eligible to
different.
And what did we say homogamy is?
people like more like you.
And so now, give me some examples. I think we almost hit a lot of heterogamy already, didn't we? If somebody is 55 and decide to marry somebody 25, nobody said that they ain't gonna make it work, did we?
No.
But is that a heterogamous relationship?
Yes.
That's all we're saying. And what we're saying is if you decide to go into a heterogamous relationship, then guess what? The chances of you getting a divorce is sky high. That's all we're saying. That's all, not we. This is what the research is showing. And so, are there some that work? You bet. There are some that work. There are some that marry a rehabilitated criminal, and it worked. You see, it worked. But the chances are up here that it won't. That's heterogamy. So we want homogamy. We want there to be a homogamous situation where you're picking somebody that's more where you are. I'm to tell you, my two youngest girls, they still single. I tell them, I said, date people who are doing the same thing you're doing. Because that's pretty much where your field of eligibles are going to be. If they're doing the same thing you're doing, if they're outside of doing what you're doing, then the chances of you selecting somebody that's more like where you are, or somebody selecting you, is going to be outside of that. The chances. You see, that's all. And so, question so far. Y'all, everybody still happy? Everybody know we ain't happy yet, Bishop. You done bust our bubble. Huh?
A lot of things make a lot more sense now, like, oh, that was the reason, or oh.
Yeah, because if you really think about it, you were with somebody, and you start saying, well, why didn't this work? Or why isn't this working? Or why isn't that? And you start thinking, you know, we were not the same in this area. We were not the same. Now, you marry people for the differences, but it's the sameness that draw you. Are y'all with me?
Right.
But it's the differences is what keep you, because that person is fulfilling something that you don't have, and you're fulfilling something in them they don't have. That's what we're getting ready to talk about now. We're getting ready to talk about what? The theories of mate selection. The theories of mate selection. A hand? Okay? Now, in the theories of mate selection, we're going to talk about this one theory. And it's called the complementary needs theory. Now, in this theory, you need to know that opposites do attract. Because we fulfill something in each other. We do. Well, most marriages are homogamous in social factors. Most of them are homogamous, right? And so we tend to select a mate who psychological needs, though, complement ours. We tend to select mates whose psychological needs complement ours. Here's something I want you to get. I'm going to read this to you. This is in that little paragraph inset on 65. It says, each individual seeks within his or her own field of eligibles. Now, I didn't write this in here, But in here, ladies and gentlemen, is your field of eligibles. This is where all the men and women are. Y'all know where the woman and the man is, right? And we went through what these symbols are. Okay? And so this is where they all are. Okay, all these symbols here, this is what those all are. Those are the men and women. And that's your field. This is your field. Okay? This is your field. All of them. The others and the same are in that field. And you're picking from out of that field. Because you've eliminated the ones who are not supposed to be there. You've opened up the ones who should be there. And now you got to select the kind of person who's in there. So what kind of person is this woman and that man? Okay, and that's based upon the needs theory. Okay, look at page 66. Now the first thing I want you to get is this is not meant to be negative when you talk about these three examples. The first example is that is called the dominance deference theory need. That's when one of the people is like more dominant and the other person is likes to have somebody to lead. Like to have somebody to lead them. And this is not negative. This is not a controlling thing. That's the negative stuff. In your lives, in your situations, is one of you kind of take the lead with things, and the other of you don't mind it. You just don't mind it. It's okay. Well, you all picked each other like that. And guess what? You did it unconsciously. You didn't do it on purpose. You were drawn to that kind of person who takes the lead in doing things, and the other person. Now, if it was two dominant persons, what's that woman's name on divorce court? Maybelline. Yeah. If it's two dominant ones, boom, 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 boom. Because you have two dominant personalities. Now that doesn't mean you have to get divorced. Don't get me. All right, don't do that. Don't do that. What we're saying is this is what happens with people, is that they have those clashes because two dominants came together. Now it could have been that you saw that dominant person over there, and then that person looked good to you. and you based your selection on the good looking. And you didn't go through stage 2 and 3 because good looking is stage 1. We're gonna get there. I just want to get that so bad tonight. So here's the second one. The second one is nurturance and succorance, and of course you see I put on there what succorance mean. And what it is that you got somebody who likes to help and to give and to be there, and you got another one who love being helped. You got the other one that love being supported. They love it. And don't you know there are people like that? But this is not in a negative way. Yeah, remember these are not negative. Yeah, this is a person who, in their life, this could be a strong person at work and do that, but at home, they like being loved and supported. And the other person like giving the love and giving the support. You know, that's just, you know, and they look at each other like that, and when they do that, goo eyes come up. They love that, and that's how it happens for them. Okay, and so remember, this is not negative. This is just a psychological personality driven phenomenon. How about the achievement vicarious? You got that one that's a big achiever, that's a high achiever. Oh, they are an accomplisher. Man, they get this done, they get that done. You know, I'm the president and CEO of this. I just ran a 26-mile marathon. I just got. I mean, they are big time achievers. They achieve, and then the other one love supporting the achiever. They thrive off the other person's achievement. They love it. This is not negative. They draw strength from that. So the other person is strengthened by the other's achievements, and they just love it. They love it. And so this is why it's called the complementary needs theory. One complements the other. Yep. Okay? There's a question about that.
That's good.
Question about that right here.
I was going to ask, can you be a mix of these categories?
I think so. But I think one is going to be more dominant than the other. Like if you were to do the Myers-Briggs type indicator or the Keirsey indicator, you could be more than one type, but you will have a dominant type. Mm-hmm. Yeah. One will be more dominant. Was there another hand? Okay, very good. Now let me give you a few unhealthy ones. How about the sadists and the masochists? Y'all know what the sadist and the masochist is?
No.
The sadist is the one that likes to hurt you, and the masochist is the one that likes to get hurt. How about the abuser and the one that needs to be abused? You ever seen a person stay in an abusive relationship and you keep wondering why? Now some people, it's hard to get out of them, more hard than we think. Yeah.
I think what you're saying is the ones that desire to get out of that abusive relationship are headed in the right direction. This is more like you desire to stay.
The desire to stay in. That's exactly right. These are the ones who this person will even call 911. But when 911 get there, they'll tell them, leave my husband alone. Leave my, why y'all messing with us?
What you call?
They need that. It's not a desire to leave. And I think that's a good example, is the desire to leave versus the desire to get out. Yes.
Sometimes, Bishop, those same people, even if they do get out,
They go back.
They gravitate to the same kind of person who still abuses. You see? Yeah, very good. Yes.
Why does that happen?
Psychologically. It's a psychological condition. You probably have to do a whole psychological workup on that person, background, history, and look at a number of things.
Could that be spiritual?
For us pastorally, we will always say that there is a spiritual connection somewhere, but just in the therapeutic arena, yeah, we look at it psychologically. Yes.
Is that person meeting the need?
When the desire, because I think the correct word is desire. When the desire, then that's a need. Okay? How about the parent and the baby? I think somebody, who mentioned that earlier? I think, yeah. This is the need, the parent, and then you looking for a mama or a daddy. And then somebody looking for somebody to baby. These are the more negative ones here. Yeah. That's a scenario where it's more negative. Now y'all know it's some sugar daddies out there. They looking for them a sugar, and all they want is to stay home and y'all understand. And they the Lord have mercy. All right, so here is where I want you to really get this thing, y'all. Because now y'all got to pick. Now with that background, y'all got to pick. And here we go through the stimulus value roll. What happens is you're going to go through 3 stages in the picking process. So first, you have your pool of eligibles. All right. Now, in your pool of eligibles, you got all those women and men over there. They just over there waiting on you. This is your field. This is your field. Oh, look at all of them. Y'all just got so much to choose from. Yeah, you don't know what to do. Look at that. Y'all just got so much to choose from all that pool of eligibles. And so now what has to happen is exogamy, endogamy, and what? Propinquity. It's going to happen. And when that happens, it's going to move you over to what we call stage 1. And stage 1, that's stimulus attraction. In stage 1, that's stimulus attraction. Okay, now in stimulus attraction, what are you looking for? You are looking for, are they attractive? Now y'all know y'all want somebody good looking, don't you? You want somebody decent, huh? Yeah, you want somebody with that bald head. You want somebody with that black hair. You want somebody with that red hair. You want somebody that's tall and dark and handsome. You want somebody, you want some, are they attractive to you? And then you want to know what's their social status. You know, you want somebody you got a little bit of something about them. You know, I mean, you ain't got to be the president or nothing, but You know, I mean, but we, what's and see, in stage one, you're willing to give up something to accept something. And that's why I think example that they talked about here is how a beautiful woman will accept a less attractive man if he's a lawyer.
All right. Yep. Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, y'all is. Why? Because of his social status. You see, and that's the, he said wallet. You know, what's their profession? What's their profession? What do they do? You know, what's their profession? You know, some people want a soldier.
That's what I had a soldier.
Yeah. Some folks want an EMT. Want somebody in the medical field. You know, some people want an educator. Some folk want people who are preachers. Yeah, I said it like that. They deacon in the church. So, I'm gonna marry me a deacon. And so what happens is now, what have you done? You've eliminated your pool now. Your pool has been eliminated down. Oh Lord. Now you're picking. Now you ain't got so many to pick from now. Then you go to stage 2. When you go to stage 2, that's called what? Value. Now I think I heard some people talking about this earlier. I want to know now, are you saved? Oh, glory to God. I ain't compromising. And a lot of times, we compromise. You say, well, if I just love them enough, they'll come to the Lord. Well, if I stay on my knees, the Lord will. How are they with
money?
Y'all ain't talking. We talking about values now. How are they with the cash? Did you have something?
Yeah. So we skipped all that. How do you find out? Do you ask about credit scores or buying dinner and
remember stage 2 in the love when you were trying to find out if y'all were in love?
I told you we skipped that. We went from 1 to 4.
That's kind of a problem. Yeah, that's stage 2 and deciding to love. That's when you're finding those things out. You want to know if the person is a flirt.
Yes, you want.
Don't you want to know that?
Yeah.
Don't you want to know how they are with? Do you even want children?
There you go.
Yeah. You know, when we get married, if I marry you, I want to have 17 children. Listen, don't you want to know if they like to argue and fight? I want to know. How you leave that paper down there? It's just a piece of paper. I know nobody don't want to hear this because you didn't go through the stages, and so you took home a fighter. Oh, y'all ain't saying. Don't you want to know what type of work ethic this person has? This person, man, you're not allergic to getting a job. They have a job allergy. They break out. Don't you want to know? Look, don't you want to know if they drink and smoke? Don't you want to know that? And so what happened now is you done broke that thing down. Now you ain't got that many to choose from now, do you? From your pool of eligibles, from your field, you narrowed that thing down. Until you get to what? Stage 3. And stage 3 is role compatibility. This is where you're trying to find out if this is your potential mate. Is this your potential mate? When you get here, what you want to know now is what's your feeling about spousal roles? What's your feeling about that? You got the old-fashioned barefoot and pregnant one. Then you got the ones that want her to bring more money than you, work harder than you, longer than you. Then you got the husband that won't change a diaper. Uh-oh. I didn't get much help on that one, did I? But don't you want to know what do you feel, what roles, what are the leadership roles? How are you with family? How are you with family? How are you round my mom, round my dad, round my brothers and sisters? How are you when I'm around yours? Do you show out when I'm around your family? See, y'all take me over your house around your family, then you show out. How you feel about us having friends?
Same friends?
Well, you define it.
Oh, I'm asking.
That's what I'm saying. You defining it with this person.
Your friend is my friend.
That's what y'all have to define. And so you start going through that, and you're gonna end up.
There you go. That's y'all too.
And you're gonna eliminate that whole field of eligibility down to. And once you get down to that one, you say, okay, maybe we can.
We got some.
Maybe here's some possibilities here. Okay, let's talk about this. There's a hand right there.
So, what do you do if you can't get past the pool of like over stage one? Like, what does that mean? Does that mean like I got too many eligibles, or what is that? I got too much stimulus, whatever. I mean, what does that mean? Like, I can't get past.
It's
So
okay to be picky.
Okay,
It's okay to be picky.
okay.
Because if you don't be picky, you're gonna end up with that pretty looking apple with a worm in the middle. Be picky. And so you got a field of eligibles, but it's a wide field. The field is wide. Yes, ma'am. Please.
So in stage 3 is when you would start counseling?
Oh, good question. At what stage do you want to say, we probably want to go to counseling now? You know, I like that. I would say definitely 3, but if you want to start at 2, it's okay. But see, in 2, you really haven't eliminated it all the way down. You see, but definitely stage 3. But if you find somebody in stage 2 that you're really interested, because down to stage 2, you're down to a couple of people that you really think that you might like.
The reason why I ask that is because if you are in stage 2 and you think you found that person, and then you say, well, how do you feel about counseling? And then they might say no.
Then I think you go back. You remember the wheel theory? You go counterclockwise. You go counterclockwise, and you go back, and you want to find out why would you say no to something like that? You would want to know why would you say no to something like that? Is it something that you feel like will maybe revealed there that has not yet already been revealed or whatever? Yeah, that's a very good question. Thank you for asking that. Yes. Come on, y'all. This is talking time now. I'm going to use the last few minutes to talk to y'all about some indicators. But right now, anyone? Who don't understand this process? Who say this don't make no sense? Do you believe in some way you unconsciously went through this, but did not even, because really it was unconscious. You didn't, we just mapped it out based upon sociological research. But if you think back, you could probably say, yeah, when I met so-and-so, when I was with so-and-so, when I was going through this, when I did that, these kind of things really did come to play. I just didn't think.
Because at one point in time, I was dating a person, and there was things that he was doing, I'm like, ooh, like, your convictions don't match mine. So I'm just like, I'm not going to ask you to change, because at one point in time, you'll miss that, and then who knows what happens then. So I was like, it's okay that you do what you do. I'm going to do what I do, so you got to find somebody that's okay that does what you, that's okay with you what you're doing.
Right.
And then I'm okay with, because I'm like, I was like, I'm not okay with that, but I'm not going to ask you to change.
Right, because you can't change anybody.
Exactly. So, I didn't know this was like an actual thing. So it's actually good to actually see this, so, yeah.
Yeah, you listen, you can never change anyone. And what a person is, that's who they are. Now, they can work on themselves and make changes. But you can never change. You say, well, if I just love them and keep them before the altar of God, you know, we can have them change. No, baby. No, baby. You can't keep them before the altar of God. They have to come before the altar of God. They have to be willing to release themselves before God. It doesn't mean you don't stop praying for them. It don't mean you don't stop interceding on their behalf. But they have to go before God. Because change has to take place within them, from them. Okay? That's important. That's how that. But you can't do it. You can never change anyone. And so that person was in her field of eligibles, but as she started going through the stages and hit that particular value, and that value was incompatible, then that person needs to be eliminated from the field. It doesn't matter if you like them. It doesn't matter if that you remember you don't fall in love, right? You decide to love. Love is a decision. Okay? Yes, sir.
How do you better differentiate between operating on making decisions based on somebody's potential rather than like they kind of like manipulating you into giving you what you want rather than you operating off what they really are?
Yeah, that's a good question, because every time you dating somebody, they always put their best foot forward, don't they? They always going to show you the best side of them, and so you don't always know what it is you're getting. That's why it is said that when you get to the courting phase, not the dating you is getting to know them. Dating is getting to know. But if you decide that you really like this person has some potential in your life, and you decide for courtship, then that's why you should do that over an extended period of time. Because a person can't hide who they are over an extended period of time. They can do it for so long, but they can't do it over an extended period of time. That's why you don't want to get married in 3 months, 6 months, 7 months. He says 12 months. I say 12 months. H. Norman Wright, the guy whose material I use, he says 12 months. Most people are going to tell you 12 months or more that you need to because that's going to give you a chance to get to really know who that person is. So that's a good question. Thank you for asking that. All right, who else? Let me give you a few factors before we go. That predictors of marital success. Number 1, age. And I'm on page 69 if you follow me. The older you are, the more successful your marriage will be. When you get married young, the statistics go up that it won't last. The statistics go up that it won't last. So why rush marriage? Why hurt? Because you in love. No, baby. There you go. I heard the word back there. How about length of acquaintanceship? We just said it. And if you look at that very last sentence there, he's going to tell you less than a year have a low probability of success. Less than a year has a low probability of success. You need to stay with that person a while, because they can't hide who they are over an extended period of time. premarital pregnancy. Don't get married just cause you got pregnant. If you know, a lot of times you get pregnant and you say, well, let's just make it right, you know. Well, what you're doing is you have a tendency to compound it, because there's no guarantee the two of you are going to become the lovers you need to be. There's no guarantee. Now some have, but the probability doesn't always work out that works. So just because, don't let that be the reason. Let the reason be because the two of you love each other. Okay? Religious. If you are someone who stays with God, the chances of staying together goes high. People who are in the church and serve the Lord and worship, their chances of their marriage staying together longer is the percentages goes up. And what about similarity of faith? If you have the same faith, you know, because you all know you shouldn't be unequally yoked, right? Mm-hmm. If you have the same faith, your chances of your marriage goes up. And what about social class? Even though we try not to look at it, ladies and gentlemen, the fact of the matter is, if a person was raised in one social class and a person was raised in another, them coming together, they can love each other and have a lot of love for each other, but it's two different worlds clashing. And so there is going to be some difficulty that they've got to work through. There's going to be some difficulty. Level of education. That they find that the years of education increase, divorce decreases. So more education, there's a tendency for you to stay married. And divorced parents. Children of divorced parents have a higher divorce rate than people who have their homes intact. And to me, it's just the model. It's just in model form. That's really, and so these are just indicators. Now remember, everything we always talk about is statistical analysis. There are always exceptions to these statistics, isn't there? Yeah. So, because there can be some successes on the outside of these statistics. There can always be successes. Always. Questions? Comments? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Wait, we need the mic, please.
Okay, you say that the level of education is based as the years of education increases, divorce rate decreases, right? Can you explain that more?
Yeah. What they're saying is statistically, when you study the divorce rates and the marriages in the country, when you study that, people who have more education tend to stay married. And the lower the education they have, they tend to quit soon. They tend to quit soon. Thank you for that question. Question, someone. Final thoughts. All right. Now we're going to be taking a break because of convocation, so I got to get your impressions. Impressions so far of what we've been talking about over the past few weeks. Impressions.
I like the class. I wish we could have started earlier in the year. So, but I like it.
these are valuable training sessions. And no matter what stage you're in, if you're, looking, just there, you can always, there's always something that, you can always find, get better informed about, how to fix things or how to make things better.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay. Impressions? Anyone? Final thoughts? All right. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attentiveness. Thank you for your comments. All good. No bad comments. Everything was good. I appreciate that. Thank you for engaging and being engaged with the material. Now, when we come back, I think I'll send you something. I keep saying that, and I don't ever get a chance to. But we'll talk about levels of intimacy and all those kinds of things, because there is a level of intimacy you would expect from people in the church, don't you? There's a level of touching that ought to go on and ought not to go on. Would you all agree with that?
Yes, sir.
When you're dating and when you're courting, and so we'll hit some of those issues there as well. Okay. If you're not registered for the conference, y'all make sure you get registered for the conference. Register your children. Get your children registered. We want them to have a great time. Great time. We got all this going on. Make sure y'all know Thursday. Do we decide whether we want them to meet here? If y'all want to bring your children directly to the swimming pool, you can do that. Otherwise, we do have a couple of vans that's going to be leaving from here, taking the children to the swimming pool. So if you're going to do that, the children have to be here. Our decision was what, 12:30? The children have to be here at 12:30 if they're going to catch our van and the other church van that's going to be here. They're going to take them over to Coppers Cove Pool and make sure they have some towels and sunscreen and everything, and we'll give them something to eat over there too. And so they'll have a good time over there, and we'll bring them back here. Make sure all that's taken care of on that Thursday. And on Friday, you can just drop them off right there at Camp Triumph. Drop them off right down there at the gate, on the campground down there.
But if they register on Friday, or